закинет, чтобы мы 3 человек могли подключиться. Поэтому... Что еще раз? Zoom?
Мне себя не указывать и не одобрять там, типа...
Марк будет это запускать.
Zoom, сам Zoom будет
Там
запускать
панель,
Марк?
ну да, там название указано.
Мне просто нужно указать, наверное, тут пишет...
Создай себя.
Я себя создаю со своего аккаунта. И вот, и мне тут пишет альтернативные организаторы.
Да, все равно. Добавишь.
Отправь, потом просто сделаешь главным организатором другого человека и выйдешь.
Да нет, не закрывай. Ну...
Но ей нужно закрыть будет потом, чтобы она там еще ничего не нажала. Окей.
Se tuntuu päris läheltä, että paneeli sulla.
Eikä se? Алло.
Siin on küll.
Jah, kõik on hästi. Куда мне пришлешь ссылку?
Я тебе пришлю сейчас.
Ты мне пришлешь ссылку, хорошо. И туда тоже нужно прислать. Она с нами?
Ну да, попроси просто, чтобы она это...
Это в старом зуме или в новом зуме?
На старый Zoom, я на новый.
А вместе может вебку, чтобы...
Christine, est-ce que vous m'entendez? Yeah, great. We'll send you now the new link for Zoom. We had some connection issues, so we'll send you in a few moments a new link. Okay, just connect there. And добрый вечер, dear friends. Welcome to the second day of Cyberfest. And we are having today the panel discussion regarding cybersecurity ecosystems, and we'll be comparing this in France and in Estonia. We have today here Mary.
Hello.
And Christine. She's connecting from Germany. Germany is well known for good cars, but not good internet, so that's why we're having some technical issues from her side. So to kick off the discussion, probably I can ask each of our speakers to present a bit themselves and to tell a few words about their view on ecosystem of cybersecurity.
Shall I start?
Yeah, Merlin.
Right. Thank you, Ignat. Thank you for having me, Cyberfest. So my name is Marili. I represent here Startup Estonia, which is governmental institution with the aim to support and enhance the startup ecosystem in Estonia. Within our small team, I'm focusing on cybersecurity. I have been doing that for the last 4 years. My educational background is actually from educational sciences, where I have master's degree, and my second master's is from digital transformation. So within the cybersecurity landscape, I'm from 2015, and today working with startups and their support organizations. And my ultimate goal is to have more and more successful cybersecurity founders and startups in Estonia.
So your goal is to have at least one unicorn in cybersecurity from Estonia?
It isn't listed yet, but let's hope.
It's in KPI, right?
Future KPIs, for sure.
Thank you so much, Marley. Christine, can you present a bit yourself?
Yes, of course. Thank you for inviting me and to the French Institute. I'm glad to be here, especially because I lived in Estonia 3 years ago, so it's my pleasure. My name is Christine. I'm a chief of staff at Tetris. It's a scale-up in extended and detection and response platform. And I am graduated in international security with specialization in IT, and I'm happy to be here and to talk about our ecosystem and especially the links we can create with Estonia. I know if you will. Nope.
Thank you. We had some technical issues, so me and Merrily, we didn't hear everything which you said, but on the stream we had this information. Just a sec. Okay, while we have technical issues, Mark, so while we have technical issues from Christine's side, unfortunately from Germany, we continue as early. So tell us a bit about cybersecurity and why it is important for youngsters. Why we actually should care about this interesting world of cybersecurity.
Well, there are many, many reasons. For the youngsters who are living in Estonia, then they don't even probably remember the time when we didn't have any digital solutions. So in around 2000, when Estonian e-society was established, then starting from that period on, more and more e-services are in digital world, and we are kind of used to it, but it isn't usual. And sometimes the difference between the digital services, our way of life, with the physical one can be mixture. So, but it is always a good thing to stop and reflect what is the difference, and where are the boundaries. So the message here is that the life will be more and more digital by a day. Estonia in this front line is a forerunner, which is a good thing, because the ones who are ahead are in most cases also bigger winners. So we want to keep the pace and be active in this landscape. So all the youngsters who are in esports landscape, they have a major advantage, because you are used to be in digital rooms. You know how the things work there, how to enhance things, but you do also know where are the boundaries. And the boundaries is a very initial thing what humans in societies need. So when we want to be ahead of things in physical and digital life, then it is always good to remind yourself and think about the boundaries and compare the two environments.
But what are these boundaries, and where is the boundary of the traditional world and cyber world, where we actually need to pay attention to the security?
Well, one very good example is how to do so that the life or the game would be fair to everyone. In societies, we are used to agree on rules, and when we agree with them, then we say also that we will play according to them. So that is the initial thing, which is similar. Now your question was?
Well, my question was about these boundaries, because you talk about the boundaries and the boundary between the traditional world and cyber world. Because now, I mean, everyone knows that it's a bad idea to leave your wallet in the I don't know, in public space and to leave it, right? But in the cyber world, we are not really paying attention to something like this.
Yes, there are aspects for example, like anonymity, or in physical world. In most cases, you always feel very present, because you are always you, and everyone perceives you also as you. But in digital world, it isn't the same all the time. So there is the difference. But the ultimate thing behind there is still that you are still you, even when you are wearing a mask.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Or you're a James Bond with your initials.
So yeah, so let's get back to cybersecurity issue for everyone. So why everyone should be really caring about cybersecurity, and why esports people might be interested in paying attention to cybersecurity?
The first reason why everyone needs to be more and more aware of cybersecurity issues is that digital room is quite new on a global scale. For Estonia, it has been like 21 years, but there are many more countries who are just about to enter this landscape. So we are like forerunners, but this means also that we are making lots of mistakes. We really need to learn from the mistakes and then apply all the learnings to the new cybersecurity room, so that the others wouldn't make the same mistakes. And there's the opportunity that the others should be or could be then be playing the life, the life according to the rules that we have felt that are right. So this is a huge responsibility for Estonia, but there is no other option either.
But going back a bit to the general things, so how would you explain for a gamer or for a youngster what is cybersecurity? Like, what does it mean in a traditional life?
Well, it's a difficult question, especially as we had the discussion. So cybersecurity is around three things. In short, it is CIA. CIA, like there are three key components which are applied within the digital landscape. So confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So confidentiality, when we think about digital data, for example, confidentiality is that no one who shouldn't be seeing your digital data does not have the access to it. Integrity is that everyone knows that your data in digital room is the same. There's the famous example that when there is a national registry of your blood type, then you truly want to be sure that your type, blood type isn't changed in that
It might be an
register,
issue.
right? Whenever something bad happens. And the third one is availability, is that whenever I need to have the access to the register, then it is possible. And when bringing those three, this analog to the e-sports, is that you want that your score, your digital assets are the right ones. You end the game today, you enter tomorrow, and your assets will be the same as they were. So you will have the access, you know that these are the right data, and no one who shouldn't be seeing your data does not have the access.
Yeah, well,
does it play out?
The example with blood type is really interesting, quite compelling. We had some technical issues. Christina, are you with us now?
Yes, I can hear you. I just cut my video.
Great. If you heard what we just discussed, can you probably give your overview on cybersecurity and why it is important?
Yes, of course. Ensure the success of the digital transformation. And I think that many countries like jumped into the digitalization without thinking about cybersecurity. Now we have like a huge awareness about the issues and threats in the cyber world. So we should find the ability to deal with the increasing number of threats and the global security issues. Because the digitalization of the society can only go for me hand in hand with the mean of protection, cybersecurity solution, and also the question of a political choice. It's a political choice to conduct a cybersecurity policy. It's also a question of culture because not only the institutions or administrations or companies are concerned. Every single people can work on cybersecurity and can protect and can try to protect their infrastructures and connection. Every sector, from defense to education to health, even agriculture, use digital technologies. So all the sectors are penetrated and must be secured. The focus today in France, and I think in Europe generally, is on the construction and the creation of cybersecurity ecosystem, but also on a global awareness. So yeah, cybersecurity is about technology, but also is more globally a set of flows, policies, tools, concepts, and practices.
Okay, thank you very much, and that's very interesting. You pointed out different sectors, including agriculture. I don't know what should be protected there,
but for example, automated system on your way to to product, you should protect also the computer, all the machines that you will use. So every object connected must be secured.
Well, yeah, I imagine that you don't want to have an airplane going other direction just because it has been hacked or something.
Yeah, of course, or a train, for example. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's important. But it's we have here esports audience, and unfortunately, people sometimes not paying attention to larger problems. But let's get to the problems which are common for esports and for gaming. So, for example, in esports and gaming, you have accounts being hacked, and when your account being hacked, you can lose all your game history, and you can lose even your in-game items, which sometimes worth of several thousand euros. So this is also an issue. And what do you think about this specific questions, Merle?
I think that it is quite a common problem that cybersecurity is actually tightened a little bit. What's different is that it is applied in esports. But otherwise, the problems are the same. There's also a bigger picture like cybersecurity, which also the infrastructure. The games and computers and so on, where internet flows and which need to be included so that we will have the cyber room as such. So that part is excluded from the esports field, but all that is related to digital data, that is included.
Okay, interesting. Christine, what do you think about this?
I'm sorry, I didn't heard what you just said. There is an echo?
Okay, do you still have an echo?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
So basically, my question was about the implication of cybersecurity on esports fans, and we've been discussing the fact that the account can be hacked and they can lose their assets. What are your thoughts about this? Did you face something related, the game-related cybersecurity threats in your practice?
To be honest, I don't know a lot of things about e-games, and that's why I'm here, because I'm sure that I will learn many things after this panel, if I can hear very well the end. Actually, we don't work. We worked with companies, so we are not working with individuals. And especially e-gamers. But what we can say on cybersecurity, for example, to protect, to avoid to being hacked, you can use protections on emails. You can it's also about culture and how we can give a good knowledge and on the especially youth. It's about education, not waiting that to have a crisis to explain to people what they should do or not do on internet, and especially connected tools. I think we can work on the culture and on the education. For example, today we just started to have courses on IT and on IT in the high school and college, because it's crucial. We have so many children or teenagers working, playing online, and they don't have basic rules to avoid easiest cyber attacks.
It's very interesting about education. And Marilyn, what's your opinion about the education on cybersecurity? Because The idea of the festival was actually to give esports and gaming fans some thoughts about the cybersecurity, because it's very people just want to have fun, and cybersecurity doesn't sound like really being a fun topic. So what do you think from your perspective how the education should be working in this field?
What is the interesting part for me between esports and cybersecurity education is that I see esports as a first stepping ground for the youth to enter any IT field, especially when you are a boy. Sorry. As I
we have two girls on the panel.
I have an understanding that in esports there are mostly boys. So sorry if my
I'm sorry,
picture is-
it's very interesting what you just said. In esports, yes, pure esports demographics, it's more like 80 to 20.
Okay.
But when you say gaming in general, it's far not obvious like this.
Yes.
It's closer to 50-50, and in some games, girls are playing much more. So.
Yeah, I believe that also. Yeah, but as said, I see esports as a first stepping ground. Now, your question probably is, so where is the line between being an esports athlete and being a cybersecurity technical expert, right? We have done a study a couple of years ago where our focus area was, so what are the key things what matter on youth's like life cycle, where they make the decisions whether to go to IT or some other field. And there the ultimate age was that in case at least a girl is familiar with IT in any field and is feeling comfortable with it by the age of 10, then perhaps she will be related to the technology sector in the future.
And if not?
And if not, then the probability is very low. The reasons were there, many reasons, but one of them is that the girls do have way more options to do in life.
This is an eye-opener. I didn't hear anything like this.
I can send you the report. But yes, it is, and it is also a concern because we are not paying too much attention to the fact that 10 years is the time when it's past the best before. Yeah.
But it's not similar for the boys?
No, it isn't so decisive because boys are feeling more comfortable with themselves and on their daily routines. There are more technology around. But for girls, it isn't that obvious. And it is also how parents teach their children and so on. So there are many aspects that influence the outcome.
Is it a global trend or Estonian?
The report was done with the Estonian children and their parents. So I don't know. But your original question was like cybersecurity education. How it is currently solved in Estonia is that in secondary school, all the pupils are taught digital skills, under which one slice is information security. There are around 10 secondary schools in Estonia where you can have one course of cybersecurity at the gymnasium level. Otherwise, your options are not that good. But after secondary school, when you enter university at bachelor's level, then you can choose cybersecurity curricula.
But the cybersecurity curriculum is already for professionals who want to go far. But for ordinary person, do we have some curriculum which gives the basics, which allows people to feel safer in the world of internet?
You probably are referring like for hobby schools or something like that, right?
Well, in general, probably hobby school or probably in standard curriculum. And how do you see actually how can we teach today's youngsters to feel safe in a future world of cyber security threats?
Today it is done via the digital skills education. So, but there is only one focus on information security, which is not too focused on technological side, but more on digital data, how to secure your data and how to manage everything. So it is taught starting from the first grade up.
Okay, cool. Christine, can you share your experience of France, and especially taking into account this 10 years old bottom line for choosing the future for girls?
Yes, of course. That's fun because in my company we are a lot of women, and especially at the direction levels. So that's not usual in France and especially in cybersecurity. For me, online gamers should be need to be more careful because they spend a lot of time online, so they are subject to more risk. So for this reason, we need to to teach them or to give some basic rules, as you said. In France, we were very late on that subject. We teach them children to use a computer, but not to protect themselves. And now things are changing with cyber attacks. We are trying to give the basics, also to help young people to make the difference between real news and fake news. Because they play online, but also they use a lot of social networks, and it's very complicated for young souls to make the difference between what is real and fake. It's going to take time, in my point of view, but it's a good direction. And what we can say, I think it's not just the responsibility of the Minister of Education or the state responsibility. It's a culture, so it's the society and also parents or, for example, games companies should consider that topic.
When you say that they should, the government or companies, what exactly do you mean under this? What are the things they should be working with?
Now cybersecurity became like a public policy in France in the last couple years, and the Minister of Education just decided to implement cybersecurity and IT courses in the for children and teenagers. But I think if we really want to change the thing and faster, because technology is not waiting and cyber attack is not too, we should definitely involve every actors that we can. And I think this conference is a good example of what we can do, because it's an event dedicated to e-gamers, but we also talk about cybersecurity. So that's an example, and I try to find similar in France, and for the moment there is not a similar event, so maybe I will have an idea.
Well, yeah, this event is one of the first ones uniting esports players and cybersecurity. And what I'm trying to get now is some practical things for gamers, because you're so smart, you're so beautiful, and you know about cybersecurity, everything, right? And I'm trying to get for our audience who are online some simplified way to explain what is the cybersecurity is, right? So, for example, myself, I know what is the double 2FA, this validation, okay. You need to pick up the good password, and it shouldn't be your birthday, okay. What else? I mean, what are the things which me as the gamer or just an ordinary person should have in my mind for the future of security. And my question comes a bit so just to specify probably question a bit. So I'm going back. You both said about the national an educational program that you have some courses for cybersecurity as well. What do you think inside of these courses is like mandatory to be implemented into the heads of the pupil? What should they retain after this course, and how they should retain? Should you also probably, I don't know, hack their accounts to show how it's important, or how and what you should help these young people in schools to get into their heads?
Ignat, you have so many interesting questions. So really, if you allow, then I will add one example, which is really good, and it is representing the educational side and what governments can do. In Estonia, we have established for quite many years already such a thing as a cyber conscription.
What is it?
So this is, you know, boys and girls need to serve, go into military. This is cyber conscription. So, and in Estonia, you can go to cyber unit, and you can look at it as a addition to educational system. So during that time, they are they are focusing how to sustain and develop the military cybersecurity infrastructure. So that was just an example. And the other piece of information about the education system was that Estonia was one of the few countries who established their master's degree cybersecurity curricula, and that was in 2008.
8, not 18.
Yes, it was 2008. So we have a bit of experience in the field. So now coming back to your interesting question.
Practical things for school, for people, not only for school people. I mean, in Estonia, everyone has digital ID, right? And if I remember, like 2 years ago or something like this, the X Road was hacked, and you had to change your ID. And actually, people of every age should have learned that cybersecurity is important. So, what are the simple things and simple tricks and simple information which, again, schools or universities should implement in the heads of youngsters?
Yeah, well, there are a couple of very practical things, like keep your software up to date, use passwords which are not predictable, which are not too easy to figure out, use two-factor authentication, use digital signature, and so on. These are this is like the initial steps, and they must be applied. This is called also like cyber hygiene, similar to let's wash their hands all the time. And sometimes it gets quite boring. Like all the times, the 4 or 5
that's the question. It's very boring, and what we can do to make it less boring but still effective.
Yeah, I think that you know, when you ask what is the key thing that the pupils should be learning at school, it is more about how we should be thinking of what is good and what is bad, and how to protect our digital assets, our digital faces in digital room. And the rules, how to do it, it is not yet fixed or set. So this is the task of head of us all.
Okay, very interesting. Thank you very much for sharing these insights on your side. Christine, can you share your thoughts on a similar topic?
Yes, I agree with what my religious said. Talking to children, and not just children, about cybersecurity can also create new career options, and quite basic tips that I can had. You can just use a password generator. It's easy if you don't have creativity to create your own passwords. Do not publish personal data online, or when you accept conditions to use online on everything free online have conditions. So just checks. I advise to check the conditions, and also accept every update because you can patch vulnerabilities of your softwares, and also lock your computer and mobile phone when you don't use it. Especially when I talk to students, I see a lot of people working on the library and they leave the library and they don't lock the computer. It's like something easy, but it can prevent to be hacked.
Yeah,
And
this one is.
protect your data.
Sorry, I just wanted this is very compelling, I think, to many people. When you leave the PC in library or in office open, people sometimes go on Facebook and I had a story in my life. The guy just forgot to do this, and some other colleagues just said like made a post on Facebook, coming out, I'm gay. You know, so this really helps to teach.
Yeah, that's basic rules, and I think if everyone start to implement those rules, it will be better. I think it's a step by step culture.
Okay, that's very interesting. And now I'd like probably to steer the conversation a bit towards the perspective for gamers from the different angles. So we all know that one of 8 or 10,000 gamers can get in the end of the day chance to earn their life through gaming. So basically, all the rest need to find something in their life to do to feed themselves and families. So what do you think about career opportunities and startup opportunities which arise in this sector? If you can give some hints for gamers, what are the types of things that they might be looking into in gaming or just in general? So some thoughts on that?
Well, I have a major hint and opportunity for all of you who you feel that you are really, really bothered when you see that there is a constant problem in esports, that somebody is trying to cheat and you don't like it, and you really feel an urge to change this, then you are the right person to enter the cybersecurity field. Because you have the passion which drives you forward and which conquers all the obstacles when you are trying to learn about cybersecurity. Whether it is a path for many, I'm not too sure, but definitely if you feel an urge to change things so that the digital gaming landscape would be more transparent and fair to everyone, then let us know. In Estonia, that would be me. And I would be really happy to guide you through to the communities who focus on cybersecurity issues, who can explain and connect you to the right persons from whom you can really learn a lot.
Thank you. Just guys take into account and ask us email of Emerly to contact her. Christine, what's about France and your outlook on the opportunities there?
Yes, in France we are hiring more than ever in cybersecurity. That's one of the problem of this ecosystem, of the cybersecurity ecosystem. It's the difficulty to our talents, and we have. But now I think we should give more visibility on the career perspective that young people can have on that field. And it's also the work of companies, but also educations and associations such as I don't know. In France, we have a lot of kind of Startup Estonia, but for education.
Well, when you say about career opportunities in cybersecurity, what is the set skill of you need to have? I mean, I imagine there is no like specific curriculum on cybersecurity, which is 99% cybersecurity section 1, sector 2. So is it like programming languages or I don't know, some algorithms, crypto security?
This is the thing what makes cybersecurity actually interesting. It is very, very interdisciplinary. Discipline. So it covers from deep technical, from social engineering and humans. So everything in between. How I see the future is that I see that we must go on with this mixture of many disciplines, at least for 5 years, and after that there will be subdivisions, and we will choose which one will be the cybersecurity from there. Yeah. But when we take the technological picture, then the core essence, how digital information flows, where, how, when, and so on. This is the cybersecurity part, and everything else is built on that. When people are studying cybersecurity, then they need to know the general picture, what is the architecture, what is the asset, what they need to protect, and on top of that, everything else is built. The assets can be, are usually in some kind of, let's say, computer, but you have to protect the assets via the human element also. You know, there is the famous saying that you need to show to a person who keeps guard some kind of white board. It can be a piece of cheese, but they are used that somebody shows it, and they think that this is the identity, which is the right one. Actually, it can be just a white thing.
Well, probably the example. Am I correct? Like with example of banking scammers, which are calling to people and just saying, "Hey, I'm a bank employee, and just transfer me money."
Yeah, it can be. Yeah.
And this is not only about the technology; it's also about psychology and the behavior.
Yeah, in many cases, it is much easier to attack an organization via the ordinary staff member than via the IT administrator, because IT administrator is very aware and he protects, the systems are fixed and secure as much as they can. But the people who don't understand perhaps or are not aware what they need to protect, then there is the key.
Yeah, okay, so it's very interesting outlook that it's not only technology, not only PCs, but it's much more complex things which should be analyzed. Christine, about career opportunities and skill sets which are needed, what are you looking for in people? It's like more psychology people, more programmer people?
Yeah, I think we are looking for a lot of different things, because there are a lot of opportunities on the cybersecurity field, and people just think that cybersecurity is just technical for tech people. The average age in my company is 27. We are almost 150, and we have project manager, we have marketing, we have people working into business, we have lawyers, engineers, developers, and we have also analysts, like intelligence analysts. We have a very diverse panorama of jobs. So I think everyone is welcome in the cybersecurity, and it's like a transverse field. So we just do not need technical people.
But in the percentage split, is it like 50% technical people, 50% other jobs, or still it's more like technical people?
the average today is like 60% in my company on technical, 65% on technical jobs, and because it's about, of course, it's about technology, innovation, research and development. So of course we need technical people, but we can have a good solutions on cybersecurity. But if we do not have sellers, if we do not have people to communicate on that product, if we not have lawyers to write the contract, we can have the best solution ever, not sell it. So we need a very diverse kind of profiles.
And you said about selling, and also, I mean, it's important for business, right?
Yeah.
Is cybersecurity is only B2B market where only big companies will be buying the things? Because I'm trying to imagine a gamer who's not really up to spending money on anything beyond his favorite things, that you can sell him cybersecurity solution. What's about this?
VPN.
Yeah, but there are free VPNs, and but is VPN? I mean, example VPN is really good because from one side you consider this being a cybersecurity tool, while gamers pretty often consider VPN as a tool to access to the content which is not available in your region. And for this purpose, they normally use rather free VPN, and by doing this, they rather increase their risks in cybersecurity.
Usually, at least, I do understand the both sides, but usually still VPN is considered to be a cybersecurity tool, as you are in control of the pipeline where your data is. So that is the goal. And when we think of the CIA, then this is the confidentiality, right?
Yeah, but for me the question is, what are the services that gamers can use in everyday life, and they were willing to pay for this to enhance their cybersecurity?
For the moment, we are working. It depends on the topic of your on your solution. For example, today Tetris just work on B2B solutions because we are working with great big companies and institutions. But there is VPN is a good example, but also for gamers you can use mobile threat defense solutions, as we can see the last days with the cyber attacks Pegasus. Everyone can be hacked, journalists. So you don't have to be in a company to be hacked. And using VPN or mobile threat